All right, mic check. There we go. How about that? You know, technology is amazing, and sometimes it is very hard to get these things right the first time. So my apologies. We've got sound now, and we've got a potential for some severe weather on Wednesday across the deep south. And before we get there, though, I wanted to talk to you about what's happening out there right now. I took you on a little radar tour without any sound, but clearly you can see rain across southwestern Alabama right now. And we've got heavy rain also in the northwestern part of the Florida Panhandle. So a good bit of rain falling out there right now. And we'll go ahead and look at some of those areas in an in-depth fashion. Let's look at Choctaw County because I'm seeing some brighter colors there. And understand the brighter colors, the oranges and the red here in Mississippi indicate, of course, heavier rainfall. All this rain shifting off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So this heavier rain going to be coming into Needham, Gilbertown, also Toxie and Silas here in Choctaw County. But really it's going to be raining pretty much throughout the night here in southwestern Alabama. Understand, this is not associated with the potential for severe weather across the state of Alabama on Wednesday. And speaking of that, I want to shift sources if we can and go to our iMac. And what I'm going to do now is show you the potential, where the potentially dangerous severe weather could happen in the daytime hours of Wednesday and into the early morning hours of Thursday. So this is a look at the state of Alabama, and this is Interstate 65 running here. You've got Interstate 59 and then 5920 here, and you note the northwestern quadrant of Alabama is included in this enhanced risk zone. What does that mean? Well, the Storm Prediction Center issues convective outlooks on a daily basis, and that tells us where the atmosphere is most ripe to see the potential for, say, tornadoes or damaging straight-line winds. So places included in this orange enhanced risk zone have the greatest chance of seeing perhaps high-impact severe weather on Wednesday into the early morning hours of Thursday. So let's kind of walk you through this. This basically is for regions to the west of Interstate 65 and to the north of Interstate 5920. So Tuscaloosa sits right there. That's Birmingham. You've got Decatur. You've got Jasper, Hamilton, also Sulligent, Muscle Shoals, Moulton, all included in that enhanced risk zone that we've been talking about now for what seems like multiple days. And also, the rest of the state is included in this slight risk zone. So just because this is where the enhanced risk zone is, where we could have some long track tornadoes, I don't want to suggest that anyone across the state is out of the woods just yet. So we're going to be watching over the next 24 to 36 hours for potentially some isolated tornadoes across the state of Alabama. Also, damaging straight line winds is a concern. And I know many of you are focused on the flooding threat across southern Alabama, so let's walk you through that right now. And we're actually going to look at the National Weather Service. This is a publicly available website that you can access at home, and this is the river and creek data that they provide. They actually put out forecasts for the water levels of creeks and rivers across their forecast area. And that's done in times of heavy rain and potential flooding events. So this is a look at the Murder Creek graph. And of course, Murder Creek has its origin in Conecuh County, Alabama. And the drainage basin includes much of Conecuh County down into Escambia County, Alabama. And it ultimately flows into the Conecuh River that flows down into the Escambia River and ultimately the Gulf of Mexico. But here's the deal. The National Weather Service is forecasting the Murder Creek to rise to near 20 feet, and flood stage is 22 feet. And understand, this graph takes into account the forecast amount of rain that is supposed to happen over the drainage basin of Murder Creek. So if this forecast is correct, it shows Murder Creek's water level increasing to near 20 feet, and that will likely happen at some point in the daytime hours of Wednesday. So that's when the forecast crest is. Now, here's the variable. If we get a lot of rain, especially over Conecuh and Escambia counties here in south central Alabama, obviously this graph will have to be adjusted to the region here where we could see Murder Creek actually coming out of its banks into the minor flood stage. So we will worry about that with time. Let's go ahead and have a look at our radar if we can shift back to our other source. And I want to show you some of the models that we look at on a daily basis to forecast daily weather and also severe weather. So let's go to our North American model, and this is the NAM. We'll go to the 4-kilometer NAM and take off this other layer from the Storm Prediction Center. And this is valid at, let's see, 6 a.m. in the morning. So what you're looking at is one potential solution that could happen in the morning at 6 a.m., showing a good bit of rain over south central Alabama, places like Greenville, Luverne, Andalusia, and also Evergreen. Now, you see more action back here over the state of Mississippi. And if this model happens to be correct, what happens is it shows that supercell formation could be possible in the daytime hours of Wednesday into the early morning hours of Thursday. And I want to caution you, understand, this is not necessarily where the supercells will form. This model is suggesting that we could have some supercells on the board in western Alabama and eastern Mississippi tomorrow night. But understand, spatially, these storms could be really anywhere over the region. It's not necessarily in these exact points. So that's the important thing to keep in mind when you're looking at weather models. Let's also look at the 12-kilometer NAM. That's one of the other features of this model that we can do. View, I should say. And again, the same idea on the table for perhaps some supercell thunderstorms here in northwestern Alabama and eastern Mississippi. Now, you don't see much action here in southern Alabama. Again, this is one model. This is one idea in our toolbox, and other models are showing the potential for some strong storms over southern Alabama. I do think the greatest risk is certainly going to be over northwestern Alabama, but certainly I can't rule out severe weather anywhere across the state of Alabama or in the northwest Florida panhandle. What I want to do now is go back to our other source if we can. And this is looking again at the National Weather Service forecast for Murder Creek. I'm going to back out of this, and again, this is a publicly available website. All you have to do is go to weather.gov on any computer or smartphone to see this data, and then you can click into the Mobile, Pensacola Weather Service Forecast Office homepage and access this wonderful data that is provided to all of us free of charge. And this is a look at Burnt Corn Creek, yet another creek here in southwest Alabama, and this is in Escambia County as well. And the Weather Service noting that Burnt Corn Creek, if this happens to be correct, has likely reached one of the highest points that it will over the next few days, and ultimately they are expecting the water level in Burnt Corn Creek to decline. Now, I actually traveled down to the southern part of the city of Bruton earlier today, and that water level is very high. I realize it looks very high. Same thing for Murder Creek, and also same thing in Riverview for the Conecuh River. But understand, the Weather Service is forecasting a decline in the water level for Murder Creek. Now, obviously that can change, especially if we get a lot of rain in here. And at this point, I want to take you over to our Facebook page, and we posted a comment section where you can sound off and ask anything about the severe weather event that you want. So what we're going to do is go to our Facebook page, and by the way, I'm joined by Lee Margaret Bostic. She is doing a fantastic job producing this webcast. We certainly appreciate her help. And let's just see if anyone has commented. Marge, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have any comments just yet, and we don't, and that's okay. Let's check Twitter real quick and just see if we've got any questions over there. None yet there either. I think that we've done a pretty decent job of describing the potential of severe weather across the state on Wednesday over the past few days, and it seems that we don't have any comments, so that's okay. But again, I want to close with this, and let me bring up this map that we've been featuring over the past few days. It seems like you're going to get sick of me talking about this, but I promise it is so important to be prepared. And I realize it sounds repetitive, but it is ultra important to have a way to receive urgent weather information, especially over the next 24 to 36 hours, as this potential for severe weather enters the state of Alabama. And again, northwestern Alabama, particularly under the gun, some significant tornadoes could happen. We are going to be watching very closely to see if in fact that does occur. But again, isolated tornadoes possible anywhere across the state of Alabama. And understand, just because we cover mostly Alabama and northwest Florida, that doesn't mean that Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana isn't going to have some action. Those states certainly could, especially northeastern and central Mississippi, the eastern part of Arkansas, and also the northern part there of Louisiana. So we're certainly going to be watching over the next 24 to 36 hours. We will keep you informed via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat should we have any tornado warnings, I should say, specifically for the southern side of Alabama. Thanks for joining us for this Red Zone Weather live question and answer session. Be sure to text the word updates to 51660 to get all of our Red Zone Weather updates delivered to you. And again, we appreciate your support.